Wrestling at Georgetown. We got an hour of excitement. We're going to review the stud stable segment that led to the suspension of Matt Borne and the injury to Curtis Thompson.
Frank, I'm just so excited to be here. I can't believe this is all happening. This section, we've got Rockin Rick going up against Tex Salenger. Rockin Rick's a newcomer. He's got it tough. It's going to be a tough match.
He sure is. Tex Salenger, 6'7", 300 pounds. Plus, someone who I know I'm very familiar with, Cactus Jack Manson, has a few words of wisdom, I guess you'd call it. And also newcomer Tommy Seabolt, the Pit Bulldogs against Chris Chavis and Vince Torrelli. And we're going to see the replay of that controversial decision between Paul Jones and Robert Fuller. With the help of the Tennessee referee, Fuller became the new South Atlantic champion.
Well, you know, Frank, we had the Pit Bulldogs against Chavis and Torrelli last week, and we're just going to take a look at that exciting match again.
And something for you fans, we promised you last week, and here they are right now. I'm talking about Bobby and Jackie. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fantastics! Brother, welcome to South Atlantic Wrestling.
Well, thank you very much. You know, it's a pleasure to get a chance to come out here, go to all the different towns that the South Atlantic is in. They've got a lot of tough teams here. The American Pit Bulls, Stud Stable. Jackie and I are just looking forward to jumping in the middle of it and getting a chance to party with all these people. That's right. You know, we're looking forward to all of the challenges that the South Atlantic Pro Wrestling has to offer, and we're ready to go.
Well, gentlemen, you got a challenge right now in the ring. The Fantastics, right after these commercial messages.
Let's do it. I can't wait.
Here they are, Bobby and Jackie, the Fantastics. It is great to have Bobby and Jackie Fulton here in Championship Wrestling. And
Just let me know if you want to go.
Pit Bulldogs. Right now, let's go to the ring. Coach Gene Liggett.
And their opponents, weighing tonight at a combined weight of 450 pounds from the City of Angels, the Fantastics!
The Fantastics, certainly one of the best tag teams in the sport today. Been around quite a while. Bobby has anyway, originally teaming with Tommy Rogers, now teaming with his brother Jackie Fulton, and I think makes an improved team. Jackie adds a certain amount of size and youth to the team, and I'll tell you, folks, they do work well together as a team. They are brothers. They think alike, they act alike, they do alike, and that means a whole lot in the ring. And right now, young Tommy Landell, Hollywood Tommy Landell, his partner, the seasoned veteran Trent Knight, as they tie up collar and elbow with the Fantastics. Once again, they push off. You see Tommy Landell. Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, psychology will mean very, very little to a team with the experience of the Fantastics. They have battled some of the finest teams in our sport today, as Tommy Landell roughing it up a little bit on Jackie Fulton in the ropes, sending him in for the ride. Fulton with the reversal over and across. Oh, Landell on his back, and it's Fulton, a series of short elbows. And Tommy Landell finding out very quickly why they call this team the Fantastics. In contrast to the Pit Bulldogs, for instance, where you'll see a lot of high-impact moves, the influence of Robert Fuller, I should say, with the Fantastics, you will see a lot of aerial moves, a lot of very quick moves, a lot of very quick tags. And right here's an example of what I'm talking about. Turnbuckle, the bigger man sending young Bobby into the corner behind him, a big elbow. And Trent Knight with a little lesson in paying attention. Little razzle-dazzle from Bobby Fulton while Tommy Landell tries to gather his senses about him. Double hook chicken wing. Boy, Wahoo McDaniels used that move to great success over the years. And right now, it's Bobby Fulton of the Fantastics in control on Tommy Landell. A special programming note to all you folks up in the Morganton area watching us on WHKY, Morganton Channel 2, as we see a Russian leg sweep now. And what an impressive series of moves we're seeing from these Fantastics. Morganton Cable Channel 2, WHKY out of Hickory, or WBT in Charlotte. We're taping tonight. Holy mackerel, these same Fantastics will be in Morganton at the College Street Recreation Center for a national TV taping. That's right, going to 125 plus stations nationwide aboard the Channel America Network. And they'll be seeing South Atlantic Championship Wrestling right along with you folks right here in the South Atlantic area. Tag's been made, Trent Knight in. Trent Knight not meeting with any more success than Tommy Landell did. Hip toss, arm drag, and a big old body slam. And Trent Knight going to the wrong corner, looking for a corner to hide in. You know, you get folks you don't realize, but you get taken over your shoulder like that a time or two, or slammed on your back, spun over your head. Sometimes you have a tendency to lose direction, and that's just exactly what happened to Trent Knight then. He went to the corner towards Bobby Fulton, and look at this. Ooh, boy, oh boy, a boot to the stomach, and then a big knee lift a la Mr. Wrestling 2. What I was saying, though, you get your directions mixed up, and Trent Knight went to the wrong corner looking for the tag, and that cost him a little time. And right now, Trent Knight taking control. Great camera shots there, our director, Kurt Weintraub. And Trent Knight paying the price with the Fantastics, and it's Knight out on his feet in the middle of the ring, looking for some cover, calling for timeout, backing off a little bit. Well, I'll tell you, there are no timeouts in professional wrestling. Also want to say a special hello to our good friend John Huey, WJTP AM 1130 up in Newland, North Carolina, the high country's best country. John, we're looking forward to coming to Newland next week up at the Cranberry High School there. Boy, you know about great wrestling fans, folks. You go up into the mountains up there, the weather is cool, the leaves are pretty, and the wrestling fans are fanatics. And we are looking forward to coming back your way next Thursday. As right now, Trent Knight straining for that tag. Tommy Landell taking a shortcut, reaching through the ropes. I'm certain that referee Leroy Ramsey, by golly, he is going to allow this. That's the referee that Robert Fuller brought in, Leroy Ramsey, and he allowed a tag that I don't think should have been allowed. But right now, Bobby Fulton doesn't care what he allowed. Boom, Bulldog. And it didn't do Tommy Landell a bit of good to come in on an illegal tag, as once again we see a legal tag from the Fantastics. It's a double hip toss. I'm not exactly sure what you'd call that move, but I do recognize this because this is an old-timer's move. You're looking at, folks, a short arm scissor, and there's a move that a lot of you modern-day wrestlers don't use. Number one, having his arm barred in behind the bend of his opponent's elbow, as you see in that shot right there, especially. It cuts off the circulation of the forearm and the hand. Secondly, it completely controls your opponent. The only real way to break it is just what Tommy Landell did right there, and that was go to the ropes. And Landell up and ready to go, up showing a little bit of spunk as they tie up collar and elbow, and once again sends Jackie Fulton to the corner. Boy, our cameras caught it right there. Nobody was home but the cameraman when Tommy Landell came charging into that corner. Once again, an arm drag, and once again, we see the tactics of the Fantastics keeping their men on the mat. Drop toe hold. Boom, elbow to the back of the head. And what teamwork we are seeing from these Fantastics today. I'll tell you now, Pit Bulldogs are a great team. They fight with tenacity. They fight with, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, intensity. What they don't have in experience, they make up for with their ferociousness, their ferocity, their intensity. But they're going to be facing a first-class team in the Fantastics, Bobby and Jackie Fulton. They truly are a first-class, a world-class tag team, although right now it's Landell and Knight in control. But only for the moment, as Bobby Fulton saw that one coming from way downtown. An elbow to the back of the head, and right now he's looking to make the tag. Trent Knight coming in for a cheap shot. Nobody home. Jackie Fulton in the ring now. We've got all four in the ring as Trent Knight's in for the ride. Double drop kick, and Trent Knight to the floor. Now it's Tommy Landell's time. Once again, they're sitting in for the ride. Landell over cross, down by Fulton, up over top, and Bobby Fulton's got him over top. We see a second tag. Fulton sets him for the big drop. Here it is. Fulton setting for the big drop. He's got his partner up over his shoulders. Smash down, a splash over top. Trent Knight, a shot for good measure, and it is all over for Landell and Knight. Your winners, Bobby and Jackie. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fantastics. Unbelievable. Let's see that again in slow motion right now if we can. Kurt, run that back for me. Let's see how this thing looks. You see it right here. There's the tag. Good, clean tag. A basic backdrop like used by the Samoans off and Sika. Jackie to the top, the bigger man. Bobby holds on to him. It's like a reverse of a big flying splash. Boom, crashing down on Tommy Landell. The rest of history is for sure. The Pit Bulldogs have got their work cut out for them. Coming up next, Curtis Thompson versus Ranger Ross right after this.
Give you a little bit of taste of some of the action that took place in the past. I'm going to go back to where a good friend of mine, Matt Borne, wound up getting suspended because of one Curtis Thompson. Now, Curtis Thompson's from North Carolina, and I had him in the stable, and I don't guess Matt liked that very much. But besides all of that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit after you watch this piece, but I feel like a piece of film's better than 1,000 words. This is a stable that happened some 3 weeks ago. Curtis has been in the hospital, and a match that took place which caused Curtis to go to the hospital. Let's go and watch that now.
he doesn't fit in at all in personality with Borne and Salenger and the Pit Bulldogs. And he hasn't gotten, you know, the Bulldogs, I mean, they changed 180 degrees when they got under the influence of Fuller. But this young man here just hasn't seemed, his personality hasn't seemed to change. He just doesn't seem to fit in.
No, yeah, he's a very tough competitor, and he's got good style of wrestling. You know, he stays within the rules a little bit. There's sometimes he takes some shortcuts where I don't think is necessary.
Well, you're looking at an old fox here. I used to take him on occasion, but then I didn't have the wrestling ability or the size, the strength that some of you young men do have. Look at here, Matt Borne come down to ringside.
What's this? What's this? Matt Borne coming down. Well, maybe we got to change it. Maybe Matt Borne's thinking twice about this. He's going to help his partner out.
Well, the stud stable over and across. Borne, a hook of the foot. Borne hooked his foot. Thompson moving. No, Thompson's not moving in. Over Thompson, down and across, and Matt Borne hooking the foot. Ranger Ross down and in trouble, and Curtis Thompson refusing to take advantage of it.
What's this? What's this? What are they saying?
I can't hear the argument, but it seems to be over Matt Borne's interference in the match. Curtis Thompson thinking he has the ability to do it.
Well, you know, Curtis doesn't like that interference. Don't seem like he wants all the glory himself.
Well, I'm not sure what it is, but it's just a continuing thing. Next weekend, the #1 fundraiser, South Atlantic Wrestling, coming to Bishopville, South Carolina at the high school. Look at here, Oklahoma Hayride, small package. 1, 2, 2 and 7 eighths, and that veteran Ranger Ross shooting it. Here we are again, one more time. The argument ensuing. Ross, schoolboy from behind. 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. Ranger Ross taking advantage of the discontent of the camp of the stud stable to snatch a quick 1, 2, 3 over Curtis Thompson. Let's see it again in slow motion. Right here it was, Vince. You see him arguing over it. The schoolboy from behind. There's a 1, 2, 3, and your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Ranger Ross. Now, let's go to the studs.
Listen, I don't want you to rack over this thing. I don't want you to go too far about it. Let the thing ride, because what we got is great news here. You see the belt here? You see the belt here? This is the guy is from Carolina. You said to yourself, ain't nobody coming. Wait a minute, boy. Don't you ever interfere in my match again, boy. Every day you cause me to get beat up here, and I don't like it. You do not beat nothing. Don't you ever get in my match again. Look at here, guys. Everything's going good for the stable now. The belt's back where it ought to be. You see the belt's back there. Big Tex is with us. You got to smooth it down. You got to listen. This time you touch me, and you ever interfere in my match again. And me, you're going to go down that side. Get out of here. Hey, boy, this Carolina boy can whoop your butt. And you understand me, baby? Oh, shoot. This Carolina boy can kick your butt any day of the week. Hey, okay, guys. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. I'm going to show you who's got authority in this show. Borne, you're suspended. You're out of here. He's got to do it. I don't care. Don't stop in the North Carolina line. Not only is he out of here, oh, God, I'm in charge of these suspensions. And they're thinking, come on. Come on back to it one more time. Come on, I want you to do that. I'm in charge. I'm so in charge of this thing. This is my stud stable, not yours. Listen, this is it. Okay, he's doing it that boy. Who wants to do it? Cut it off. Borne, some people call him maniac. He's darn sure no maniac. Be suspended for 3 to 6 months from South Atlantic Wrestling. Curtis Thompson's not suspended. He spent a lot of time with a busted spleen in the hospital. Curtis is going to be coming back, and let me assure everybody when he does, he's going to be right here in this stud stable. But let me give you a word out there to be thinking about, and Curtis, you can listen to this also. You come back here in that same frame of mind you was in when you left, and I'm going to guarantee you this, son, you're going to be face to face with with a Tennessee stud, and you'll go right back to that same hospital bed you just got out of.
South Atlantic Championship Wrestling in the ring. One of the young lions of South Atlantic Championship Wrestling, young man who's making himself quite a wave, is this Tommy Seabolt, and we've got him in action right now. His opponent, Mike Rexx. Mike Rexx, a little taller, a little leaner. Seabolt, the shorter, probably the heavier of the two men, certainly the stronger, and he's here to show his wares today on South Atlantic Championship Wrestling. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see with this Curtis Thompson mess when he comes back. Thompson spent several days in the hospital. Of course, Borne is gone on suspension, but Fuller's talking like Curtis Thompson's coming back into the stud stable. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see Curtis Thompson's reaction to all this. Now, the problem was never with Robert Fuller. The problem was always with Matt Borne. So we will see when Curtis Thompson comes back. I still do not approve of his choice of friends, as I'm sure no one else does. He doesn't fit into that group of people. But it will be very interesting to see if he, in fact, stays with these folks or charts his own path. But right now, it's Tommy Seabolt in the ring and in control on Big Mike Rexx. Seabolt showing wrestling skills, staying with that arm bar, staying with that arm drag, keeping the taller man down on the mat. A lot of times, wrestling fans, the tall man is the one that causes you the problem because he's able to spread out and get that leverage. You know, if you want to lift a rock, you make a fulcrum, you take a long piece of pipe and you put it on a rock, on another rock, and you make a lever, and that's how you lift something heavy. Well, the same thing's true here with a taller man. He can spread out and make himself extremely difficult to move. And if young Mike Rexx learns to use that to his advantage, could be a very competent professional. By the way, while we've got a minute, I want to say a special hello to all our friends down in Jefferson watching us on WBTW TV 13 out of Florence. We're going to be at the Jefferson Armory next Friday night. Get those tickets from any member of the Armory right now because they're getting $1 a ticket. It is a fundraiser for the Armory. And in Forest City next Saturday, 1 week from today, as Tommy Seabolt hangs on. This same Tommy Seabolt will be in action along with a host of other folks at Cool Springs High School in Forest City, raising money for DARE. It's Drug Wars 90, Dare to Take the Challenge. Rutherford County DARE program, and we are looking forward to it. Winston-Salem Wrestling's coming your way, and Pendleton, South Carolina, down in the valley of the shadow of Death Valley, as a fireman's carry over into a double wrist lock in the shadow of Death Valley. Clemson University, Pendleton High School, coming up in a couple of weeks. We will be taping national TV taping. We will be taping wrestling there on the 17th. So mark your calendar, all you folks down there in the Anderson, Clemson area. Wrestling coming your way. Seabolt changing the pressure now, changing it to a more conventional arm bar from the double wrist lock. More of a controlling move, and there's the little cheap shot. Mike Rexx unable to do anything offensively so far against the skills of Tommy Seabolt. Goes for that little cheap shot in the eyes, backs him into the corner, and now he starts a little rough and tough, trying to take some of the wind, take a little bit of the heart out of Tommy Seabolt. Seabolt sent to the corner. Seabolt up over top. Rexx underneath. He missed him. Oh, boy, Seabolt with a chop just took the feet right out from under Mike Rexx, and now Tommy Seabolt charging back. Seabolt a turnbuckle of his own, and a drop kick, and Rexx once again flat on the back. Seabolt should be moving in for the cover. Does it, setting him up. Knee lift up underneath the chin, and once again Mike Rexx on the mat. Seabolt has gone to the outside. Tommy Seabolt going to the top rope. Seabolt, Rexx in trouble. The dive over top. This could be it. 1, 2, 3. It is all over. Tommy Seabolt, all our Ricky the Dragon Steamboat diving off that top rope. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Seabolt. Once again from the top, your winner in extraordinary fashion, young Tommy Seabolt with a dive high on Mike Rexx. To these commercial messages, we've got tag team action as the Pit Bulldogs face War Eagle Chavis and Vince Torrelli. And we got a main event for you. The War Eagle, Chris Chavis, 275 pounds of Indian Fury from Robinson County, teaming with Mr. Wrestling Vince Torrelli and their opponents right here on South Atlantic Championship Wrestling, the tag team champions, the Pit Bulldogs. And goodness gracious, did Rexx catch him or what? Chavis going with the leapfrog, in control there. Big old Rexx caught him in midair, power slam, a bite across the throat, a little choke, take the wind out of the big man, and right now the Pit Bulldogs taking over on the team of Chavis and Torrelli. I don't know, that Tommy Seabolt, what an impressive young man he was in this last match we saw. He did that dive off the top, and you know, it's been a long, long time. I've seen Jimmy Snuka do it. I've seen Ricky Steamboat do it. I've seen Paul Orndorff do it. I've seen a lot of wrestlers over the years. That was as good as any of them. Mike Rexx was a tall man, over 6'4", and he was way over top of Mike Rexx when he came crashing down on him. Certainly going to make a name for himself in South Atlantic Wrestling. But right now, you talk about 4 men that have already made a name for themselves. Robinson County's own, Lumberton's own War Eagle Chris Chavis. He came to us high school All-American. He was who's who in high school. He played football at James Madison University in Virginia. came to us through the bodybuilding lanes and whatnot, introduced by the original Nature Boy Buddy Rogers to professional wrestling. His partner, of course, Mr. Wrestling Vince Torrelli, he came via the several Tough Men contest and was a runner-up in the 1988 Olympics. But, you know, all those past laurels, ladies and gentlemen, all those things they've accomplished, they're doing nothing but collecting dust in books today, because the only thing that matters today, the only thing that matters is the fact that they are in the ring with the South Atlantic Tag Team Champions, Rexx and Spike, the Pit Bulldogs. That's Psychotic Spike and Rabid Rexx. But right now, Chavis doing what he needs to do, and that was get to his base. Spike had the advantage, had his weight over top of Chavis. Chavis got to his feet, but Spike too quick for him with that boot to the midsection. Once again, we see a quick tag from the South Atlantic Tag Team Champions. They have a lot of wrestling skill. Whoa, talk about wrestling skill. Right there was an example. They have a lot of wrestling skill, but it took Robert Fuller, the Tennessee stud, to bring out the Pit Bulldog portion of them, the tenacity of them as well. The big man, Big Rexx, picks up 275 pounds of War Eagle Chavis, hung him over that top rope, and Chavis desperately needing to make a tag. Right now, though, we see the heart of War Eagle Chris Chavis impaled on that top rope all the way to the floor, and now look at him getting back in the ring, only to receive more punishment. Not taking that breather on the apron as we thought he would. Once again, the quick tag, and the Pit Bulldogs continuing to do what you need to do in tag team wrestling. Isolate one member of the team and take him apart. Chavis desperately needing to get across the ring. 18 feet to his partner, and it might as well be 18 miles right now, as referee Byron Richards watching closely. Spike's choking, just a blatant choke. That move designed not so much to beat the man as to take the wind out of him. You see these percussion moves take the wind out of the big man. Chavis, the powerhouse of this team, although Torrelli no slouch. Right now, Chavis coming back with sledgehammer chops, a series of them. But it's Spike with a rake across the eye, Spike with a boot to the belly, and it's Spike back in control on the War Eagle Chris Chavis. Chavis been in the ring now for some time, certainly needs to make that tag. You see Spike looking over at partner Rexx, no doubt working out some sort of a signal between them. Byron Richards cautioning for the blow to the throat. That is grounds for disqualification if it is continued, and Byron Richards is not above disqualifying these men. Once again, we see a tag, the 5th, 6th, 7th tag since Chavis has been in the ring. Chavis desperately needing to tag Vince Torrelli on the apron, just dying to get involved in the action. Involved he got, and here comes a very fired up Vince Torrelli, which was exactly what Big Rexx wanted to do by distracting referee Byron Richards. You see on the floor the damage being done by Spike. A slam right here on the concrete floor of the arena. War Eagle Chris Chavis taking a beating. They counted on that fiery temper, that fiery competitive spirit of Vince Torrelli. As you see, Big Rexx still taunting Vince Torrelli. And here comes Torrelli one more time. Byron Richards will have to put him out, and in doing that, he opens the gate for Rexx to continue the punishment outside the ring illegally on War Eagle Chris Chavis. Chavis very unceremoniously dumped back into the ring, and right now things do not look good for this team, as you see the frustration factor in Vince Torrelli just jumping up and down outside the ring, waiting on his turn to get into the ring. You know, Torrelli suffered those injuries at the hands of the Tennessee stud Robert Fuller, supposedly by himself, although confidentially Torrelli said that these two men right here, the Bulldogs, were involved as well. As once again, Chavis gets to his base, up over top, sunset flip, Chavis, he got the leverage? No, not quite. The short, stocky, very short, stocky build of Bulldog Rexx saved him from going over top on that sunset flip. War Eagle Chris Chavis trying to think, but Rexx able to sit down and keep him from going over the top. Another one of the very beautiful South Atlantic fans can't believe the action she's seeing in the ring right now. War Eagle Chris Chavis, he blocked the suplex. He's blocked it a second time. Chavis sets him, suplex of his own over top. The big vertical suplex won the World's Championship for more than one man, but it didn't do the damages. Right now, it is Psychotic Spike, or Rabid Rexx, I should say, going to work, biting on the throat of War Eagle Chris Chavis. Once again, wrestling fans concerned over the action. Chavis, a big slam, and down in the middle of the ring. He is a long, long ways from Vince Torrelli. High impact move from the second rope. It's Big Rexx, boom, and nobody home. He took the time to telegraph the move. He took the time to pose and jaw with the fans, and that may have cost him right here. Right now, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game. We need to see a tag. Rexx needs to tag Spike, and certainly War Eagle Chavis needs to tag Vince Torrelli, and they both do it. Here comes Vince Torrelli, and he is a house of fire. It's Vince Torrelli, a series of rights. Spike, Rexx, slams. They are going all over the ring. Spike. Spike and Rexx being manhandled right now by Mr. Wrestling, Mr. Torrelli. And here comes the War Eagle, Chris Chavis. They're both sent into the ropes. Boom! Double backdrop, both Bulldogs crashing to the mat. And right now it is the team, the Young Lions. It's War Eagle, Chavis, and Vince Torrelli in control as once again they go up. Sleeper, Torrelli's got the sleeper. Chavis has got the sleeper. It could spell the end for the Pit Bulldogs. They are in the middle of the ring. Byron Richards in position. Neither man near the ropes. Torrelli and Chavis both have the sleeper. Oh, look at it from the outside. Here comes Salenger from behind. Takes Salenger behind. It's 3-on-2. Salenger, the Bulldogs against Chavis and Torrelli. And this could be problems. Referee Byron Richards calling for the disqualification, but it is 3-on-2. It is a typical stud stable attack. 3-on-2. The advantage goes to the stud stable over Jones's Rangers. Ranger Ross has come in. The sides have equal. Ranger Ross sitting the Bulldogs and Salenger reeling. Chavis, Torrelli trying to get to their feet. But right now, Ranger Ross, the fresh man in the ring. Here comes Torrelli back. Here comes Chavis back. Boom! Salenger takes a beating. The Bulldogs are taking a beating. And we have got mayhem in the ring. The Tennessee Stud is hit. Robert Fuller, the leader of the stud stable, has hit the ring. And one more time, the sides have switched. Unbelievable action here on South Atlantic Championship Wrestling. As once again, the sides have switched. The stud stable in control. Fuller, the Bulldog, Salenger, they are in control over Chavis, Torrelli, and Ross. And he's at the ringside. Here he is, number 1, Paul Jones, the leader of the Joneses Rangers. It's Jones with a series of rights. Salenger goes down. The stud goes down. The Bulldogs go down. Stud again. Salenger again. And number 1, Paul Jones, showing why he's number 1 as he is clearing the ring. There they stand, Jones's Rangers clearing the ring, the stud stable taking a powder and cowering back to the dressing room. Jones's Rangers standing tall. Attention civic groups, high school band and booster clubs. Athletes has happened in South Atlantic Wrestling in recent time was the introduction of Leroy Ramsey, the Tennessee referee, which led to the loss of the South Atlantic title by Paul Jones. Paul Jones has joined me here in the studio. We're going to review the action from 2 weeks ago when, Paul, you lost the South Atlantic Heavyweight Championship.
Well, that's right, Frank, and I'm glad you're playing this footage over again because I want the people to get a chance to take another look at it. And you know, when I went into this match in the title of state, I knew something might happen, and I had my Rangers standing by, and anyway, you don't know what to expect from Robert Fuller.
Well, had you counted, you know, we'd seen Leroy Ramsey. We knew that he was Robert's own referee. We know that he's got a legitimate license. But he had called everything pretty square up and down the line. So were you surprised at the obvious slant that he showed in this match?
Well, yeah, Frank, you know, I'm sure, like you and I talked before, you know, we have to be idiots to not to expect something from this referee. Obviously, he shows... we really didn't see any favoritism that much, rather, and so I just wanted I didn't argue the point of him refereeing a match too much because I figured if he did show a little favoritism and I still won a match, I'd be ahead.
Well, certainly. Well, right now, he's definitely showing favoritism, as we saw Robert Fuller, a typical tactic of Robert Fuller, complaining about the pulling of the hair, and the referee, Leroy Ramsey, right there. Now, that was obvious that you didn't pull the hair, and yet Fuller complained, and Ramsey went right along with it. At this point, I'm certain that you were really beginning to smell a rat.
I sure was. You know, just it doesn't take much to get my temper up, and especially you know, if I'm not guilty of something, I think everybody that's viewing right now, if you're innocent, you're not guilty of something, it kind of gets under your skin a little.
Well, no referee can call what he doesn't see, and Fuller constantly complains about pulling of the tights, pulling of the hair, and all these different things. And Byron Richards and Ronnie Hanna and some of the other officials have usually just kind of sloughed it off. But this Leroy Ramsey took it at its word, as you see a beautiful hip toss, reverse of Fuller's hip toss, a right hand upside the head, another right hand upside the head, and there's something that you don't see very often, an official actually touching one of the wrestlers, Paul. He was reaching out and grabbing at your hand, and I know that's something that figures in later on in the match, but boy, I'll tell you what, I don't know how you kept your control at that point.
Well, I'll tell you, Frank, you know, it's almost like at this point, you know, I'm figuring, well, the odds are against me because I'm not only wrestling Fuller, which, like I said, you don't know what to expect, but when you have a referee to start to show a little favoritism, you really want to be obvious in everything you do and try to come up with a clean win.
Well, exactly right. Certainly, if anybody is capable of reaching into a bag of tricks, it would be you, Paul Jones, because your bag of tricks is, I'm sure, as unlimited as Santa Claus's bag of goodies, as the fans right here at South Atlantic Wrestling over the years will attest.
Yeah, now look right there. Okay, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was very, very obvious.
There was a turning point, certainly, in the match. Things were going your way to this point. You went for that big right hand, which, of course, is a Paul Jones trademark. You've said yourself, you made the comment about fighting fire with fire, and sometimes that's what it takes. But the referee reached out and hooked that arm. Not only did it throw your timing off, but it allowed Robert Fuller to take that cheap shot, which gave him the advantage, Paul.
Yeah, I never thought that...
Look at this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but right over top of the referee and no admonishment at all. At this point now, everybody in the building, I'm sure, not only you, I'm surprised your Rangers weren't out there at this point.
Well, that's right. You know, Frank, it's right now I'm looking at this over and over, and it's just sort of an armchair quarterback when you view it over again. And you know, I notice that how obvious it is where twice now he's grabbed my arm, and not once has he grabbed Fuller's arm when Fuller had the advantage on me.
No, and he certainly hasn't caught the hair pulls or any of the little things, including right there, a punch right in front of him, hey, no admonishment at all.
Yeah, look at the referee.
I'm sure the referee's calling that an open hand, but
not now.
That was an open hand, and there was no excuse for that whatsoever. And these tapes have been taken to the Board of Governors. But the wheels of justice, Paul, you know, move slow because you have been stripped of the South Atlantic heavyweight title.
There's another one. You know, Frank, I figured, you know, I've been on both sides of the fence, and I figured, you know, if, you know, I'm not above pulling out a pair of brass knucks and knocking Fuller out, too, you know.
Well, you know, I understand that in my wrestling career, certainly not as long or colorful as yours. As finally the Paul Jones temper beginning to flare a little bit, and there you come, but the referee stepped right in, actually becoming a tag team partner to Robert Fuller at this point. Paul, you've been around long enough now to know how to fight fire with fire. Yeah. And finally, here it is, that temper of #1 Paul Jones going to work fighting referee and wrestler in the ring.
At this point here, I knew I had my work cut out for me. I knew if I was going to beat him, it had to be right in the middle and very obvious.
Well, the momentum's certainly going your way. It looked to me like you had it. Fuller, a big, tall man, boot up under the head. Now, referee Leroy Ramsey says he did not see the foot on the rope. He claims he did not see that foot on the rope. Paul, I don't know what to tell you. Judging from all the other things he did in the match, I can't help but believe that he saw it somewhere. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll promise you this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Paul, but I'll promise you this. The controversy is a long, long ways from over between Paul Jones and the Tennessee stud Robert Fuller. We'll be back with more right after this. Wrestling since our inception, talking about the Los Angeles, California native, Rockin' Rick, a former dancer with Chippendale. Let's go to the ring and Coach Ligon.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 228 pounds, welcome the popular Rockin' Rick.
Rockin' Rick, he danced for the Chippendales. He's been on Sally Jesse Raphael. Now is a career change in mind as he wants to be one of the wrestling stars right here on South Atlantic Championship Wrestling. And he certainly has a test today, and that man right there, he's 6'7", he's 301 pounds, and he blew out of Texas like a bad wind. I'm talking about Big Tex Salenger, the enforcer of the stud stable, and he is here today to enforce the stud stable law on young Rockin' Rick.
And his opponent, weighing in at 301 pounds, from the great state of Texas, Tex Salenger.
Wrestling fans recall last week right here on South Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Rockin' Rick with a big exciting win, and it was Robert Fuller immediately into the ring, contract in hand, to try to sign Rockin' Rick to the stud stable. His answer? He tore it up and threw it in his face, and right then Robert Fuller vowed that there was a future of pain and destruction for young Rockin' Rick, and that pain and destruction today takes the form of Big Tex Salenger in his nose, and Salenger going to work on the young man from Los Angeles, the ladies' heartthrob, Rockin' Rick. A reversal Salenger up over top. Big old backdrop, a 300-pounder from Texas right now. Maybe he took Rockin' Rick a little light, but Rockin' Rick is certainly in control right now on the enforcer of the stud stable, 6'7", 300-pound Tex Salenger. Talking about folks that are in control. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if Paul Jones is in control or not. You weren't sitting here in the studio with me. You didn't see the fire in his eye, the quiet, I don't want to say quiet desperation, but the quietness of Paul Jones. He had very, very little to say as he sat and watched this tape, and he watched that tape of his match with Fuller more than once. We've seen the problems with earlier in the show here with the Chavis and Torrelli against the Pit Bulldogs. Certainly the Fantastics are coming into the picture. This man, Tex Salenger, in the picture. But the pinnacle, the peak, the center of this whole affair deals with Paul Jones and Robert Fuller. And next week, right here on television, as we watch Rockin' Rick in control, but next week, right here on television, you're going to see Paul Jones against Robert Fuller. And the war continues, ladies and gentlemen, as right now they lock up collar and elbow. It's big old Tex Salenger with a bite across the bridge of the nose, and that'll sure bring tears to your eyes. He bit Rockin' Rick across the bridge of the nose, clogged those eyes up, and now the big man going to work on the young man from Los Angeles, California. Hangman, the big clothesline, takes him down. You know, these Rockin' Rick, Tex Salenger, Paul Jones, Robert Fuller, the Pit Bulldogs, Chavis, Torrelli, the Fantastics, Ivan Koloff, they're all part of that exciting South Atlantic Championship Wrestling package. And that's the package, ladies and gentlemen, that comes to you. You know, you don't have to drive to the big towns to see South Atlantic wrestling. It's not like baseball. It's not like football. It's not like the other wrestling alliances. We bring wrestling right to your hometown. We're bringing it to Pendleton, South Carolina. We're bringing it to Cameron, North Carolina. We're bringing it to Forest City, North Carolina. We're bringing it to Newland, North Carolina. We're bringing it down to Johnsonville, South Carolina. We're bringing wrestling into the small towns. And Rockin' Rick showing a little offense here. South Atlantic Wrestling is the only group that brings the wrestling to you. If you got a club, you got an organization, if it's a high school, a band booster, a police department, a Rotary Club, whatever it is, and you want to have this kind of excitement in your hometown, you want these guys to help raise money for your group or your organization, please give us a call. You've seen the commercial in the show before, 704-365-1002. Call, say, I want to talk to Frank Dusek about wrestling, bringing it to my hometown, and I'll be glad to talk to you about it, because it is a unique fundraiser. Right now, though, there's nothing unique. It's showing the power of Rockin' Rick as he slammed 300-plus pounds down in the middle of the floor. Rockin' Rick going to the top, a very high-impact move, a very dangerous move. We saw Tommy Seabolt win with something like it earlier. Over the top, sunset flip, shades of Ronnie Garvin, 2, 2, 2, 3. Finally, referee Leroy Ramsey hesitating. That was nearly a 5 count on the pin, but your winner, Rockin' Rick. It was obvious the referee didn't want to call it, but he had to. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, and a surprise victory. Whoa, 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 wait a second now. Wait a second. Here's the Tennessee stud, Robert Fuller. Fuller in the ring complaining. We just saw in the match with Jones what kind of influence Fuller holds over the referee. Fuller claiming there was a pull of the tights. Clearly there was no pull of the tights, but Robert Fuller claiming it. It's the first loss on national television for Tex Salenger, and Robert Fuller definitely claiming a pull of the tights. Anything to keep Salenger from getting that loss on TV. Leroy Ramsey, I don't believe this. Leroy Ramsey has reversed his decision. Unbelievable. Leroy Ramsey has reversed his decision. He has disqualified Rockin' Rick for allegedly pulling the tights. There's your winner. There's your winner, Big Tex Salenger. Rockin' Rick, he doesn't know what to do. He's young and inexperienced. Certainly, he never thought anything like this would happen. Now, Paul Jones has hit the ring. Paul Jones, certainly no love lost right here. You saw this man, Leroy Ramsey, directly responsible for the loss of the title to #1 Paul Jones. I don't like the looks of this. Paul needs to be very, very careful. Ramsey is still a licensed referee. Paul must be extremely careful and treat him as he would any referee. Certainly right now, though, the fans disappointed, Jones disappointed. You see Ramsey saying, who's the referee? The most disappointed man right now has got to be Rockin' Rick. This war between the stud stable and Jones's Rangers is a long, long ways from over, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly animosity is continuing. George, it has been an exciting hour of South Atlantic Championship wrestling.
Frank.
What?
I'm sick and tired of Paul Jones and all these idiots in North Carolina. I'm the paid official. I won't take it no more. The next time Paul Jones puts his hands on me, he's going out.
Now, wait a minute. I know it's within your power. Hold it now. Hold on.
Out. I'm not going anywhere. Again, you get in my face one more time, Jones, and you're going out forever. I don't know who he thinks he is. He's a Tennessee referee as far as I'm concerned, and he referees like he's from Tennessee, and you can't tell me that he is not being paid by Robert Fuller. But I'm going to be here next week, and I guarantee you one thing, I'm going to be here, but I don't believe that the Tennessee referee is going to be here, and I don't believe Robert Fuller's going to be here.
Paul, wait a minute now. He's an official of South Atlantic Wrestling. I mean, he is an official. What he says goes unless it comes before the board and all that. So, you know, hey, you know, I know you have a beef, but you've got to go before the board.
Listen, the only board that I'm going to go before with this referee and Fuller is a 2x4.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that remains to be seen next week right here on South Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Paul Jones against Robert Fuller. We've seen the Fantastics, Curtis Thompson, the return of Ivan Koloff, Rockin' Rick, Tommy Seabolt. Right now, let's close with these words from Cactus Jack Manson, and we'll be back right here.